Oh, hey, Vivi. Sorry
Hi,
to make you
Vivi.
stay up late, but I'm glad you're here. Take a nap tomorrow for your mom. Got one of our favorite young viewers on, so that's nice to see. Sorry, every month I think we have it down getting set up, but then always takes a hot minute to get going. I am Megan, and this is,
I'm Claudia,
that's right, and you are my,
and you are my.
we're married to each other.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say husband. Hey, Peachy Fresh, good to see you again. And I am the blogger and owner behind the site Allergy Awesomeness. And he's my co-parent in the food allergy world. So I like having him on because A, you don't have to listen to me talk the whole time, and B, it's nice to have a dad perspective sometimes. So I'm still getting over a cold. I've had a cold for like 2 weeks, so sorry if I cough or have to take a drink of water. We do these on the first Monday of every month at 9 p.m. I jinxed myself. Did you see that? And and we do it because we realize being allergy parents for like 6 years, well, a little over 6 years now, that it's more than just what you can and what you can't eat. It involves social aspect, involves emotional aspect, and so since I have like the bomb diggity readers, we just thought we would create a space where we could ask questions, we could share what we've learned, and discuss topics that can just help build a nice, safe community for all of us. So, do you want to say hello to the good people?
Surprise, Castrola Gomez, Liz Meyer.
Hey guys. So we always start our lives with a tidbit that we share about ourselves to see if we have anything in common with you guys and just to know a little bit outside of us other than just being allergy parents. So because it is December's live Q&A, I thought it would be fun to do like our favorite like gift we've ever gotten or favorite gift we've ever received. So I feel like I had to like do a tie real quick because there's like one as a kid, right? Like the kid that like getting the bike was awesome or getting like my drivable Barbie Corvette was really awesome. But then as an adult, Claudia's a really good gift giver and he's done like the 12 days of Christmas for me. Once when we were dating and once when we were married. And those are always like really thoughtful, awesome gifts. And it just keeps coming for 12 days. So it's really nice. Hello from North Dakota. Nice to see you on here. Thanks. Do you think of a tidbit?
Um, hmm. Well, there really wasn't one that stuck out to me, but I know as a kid,
Listen,
my bike was my best, was one of my highlights.
I think it is for kids. Nice. So, we missed a couple of people. Who we got? Did you get Liz?
Yep.
So did you get Sarah?
Clinic, sure, technically, don't know how to pronounce that. Sarah, you're making me crazy, and Carl.
Hey guys, I'm Melissa on Facebook. So, I asked earlier on Instagram and Facebook if you guys, sorry, if you guys had any questions for us. And can we just actually let's just pause real quick. How was everyone's November before I jump into stuff? Because for us, it was bananas. We have our oldest son's birthday. We hosted Thanksgiving and had people staying with us. I was super sick.
Anniversary.
Our anniversary, I was like super sick for 2 weeks, barely getting over it. My grandpa passed away. Like it was just bananas. So we hope that since we've last talked to you, that you guys have been well. But I have a feeling that it's not going to slow down because now it's December and it's all the holiday craziness. Oh, Black Friday shopping. What else? I did. There was putting up the lights for you, putting up the tree. We like to do that right after Thanksgiving. So it has just been crazy. So let us know what you've got. Oh, thank you. How would you say that? Casserole?
smell the gums.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so let us know what plans you guys have for December, because I'm sure everyone's going to have a busy December, especially with food and everything else going on with such a food-centric holiday. But I wanted to get to the questions that people asked ahead of time in case they're not here, so that way if they rewatch the replay that they can get their answers.
Melissa ordered your book.
Woohoo! Thank you, Melissa. So let's get to those questions. Join in if you have a good answer for those questions too. We love giving like rounded feedback from everyone. And then we would love to answer any questions you guys have about what's going on currently or what's going to be coming up for this month. Oh, Sarah says she also had a crazy November. My 1-year-old got pneumonia. Oh dear. That's scary at such a young age. And my oldest got strep. And it's your middle's birthday. Whew. We feel you, Sarah. That sounds like a rough November.
And another allergy.
Oh my goodness. And you found out about another allergic to something else. Oh man. You deserve a big cup of eggnog. So sorry. Hey, Bex. And she says November was crazy here with all the smoke from the fires. Ooh, had to stay in for 10 days. Okay, we have really bad fires here in Utah this summer. Half of our city was on pre-evacuation, so we just left because we had been inside for how many days? I think only like 5, so like half of what you did. And I was going stir crazy with my rambunctious boys. And with our bad asthma, like it was seeping into our house, like even keeping the door shut. Like we legit didn't like open the door. So we just got out of town. Oh, I'm sorry. I can only imagine. They say that they're horrible. We hope they get that figured out for you guys. So, question. So, someone asked, is your cookbook good for Instant Pot beginners? What would you say to that, Claudia?
But you have an answer to
that. Good one.
Yes,
it is. I have like.
I've not cooked anything in the Instant Pot, so true. I can't really say.
You're spoiled.
Whether it's beginner or not, I think I could cook the things in there.
He's very good at following.
It might take a little learning curve as far as using an Instant Pot, technology of it, but that's my input.
Yeah. So I have super detailed instructions. Like I hate it when people are like, put something in the Instant Pot and hit the beans button because they have like different pre-programmed buttons. Like no, because it depends on how much water you put in there. Like I have it calibrated to the minute, to how much liquid. Woo! Instagram. Sorry, the camera just fell. I don't even know where that music came from. Sorry, Instagram. Just keeping it real. No, I don't. I guess. Music. I don't even know what that song was. Anyways, I have it calibrated to like push this button, push this button, push this button, close the lid. Will turn out. So it's definitely for beginners. I didn't want it to like, if you have just bought an Instant Pot, you should be able to just open the pages and know what to do with it. I tried to make it very, very simple. Yeah, no big deal if you don't know how to use an Instant Pot. I will walk you through it, and by the time you've done several recipes, you'll feel so comfortable. Like I literally use my Instant Pot every day. Do we not just eat dinner from the Instant Pot?
Yes, we literally eat from the Instant Pot every day.
Every day. Like I don't know how to not cook from it because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, put frozen chicken in. Like why would I ever not use that? Like I don't want to have to thaw meat. It's amazing. Like I want to be able to have my pasta done in 4 minutes. Like I've just never gone back to the stovetop. Yes, so ask Santa for one. Make sure you go back and look at my post because I tell you, even if it's the Instant Pot brand, not all models are calibrated the same. I got 2 different ones so I could do a lot of cooking and trialing. And one scorches all the time and one cooks perfectly. So I can also put in the comments, you want to make sure you get the right model.
You have a link?
Yes, I will put it in the comments when we're done. I've put it like on Black Friday and a couple of times trying to warn people. So I've tried to put it out there. and then they said, will it be okay for a food allergy newbie? Yes. I really tried to not use very many crazy ingredients that either you can't find because you're in a small town or you're like, I've never even had to look for that in the store. So I really tried to stick to like typical ingredients and only like rice milk and coconut milk are ones I use somewhat frequently, but otherwise I try and use pretty typical standard ingredients. So I feel like if you're new to food allergy cooking, it's not going to be like, because I remember when I was new and I was like, I've never even heard of these ingredients. Like, how am I supposed to cook with this? I don't know where to find it or what to do with it. So,
like what?
Like nutritional yeast. Oh man, sorry Instagram. I remember being like, what is that? And now I love it, and I know where to find it, and I know how to use it. But there's just things that are interesting when you're first starting out. Okay, someone asked me, do I have a gingerbread recipe? No, I don't. I don't care for gingerbread. Sorry, you're not going to probably find a gingerbread cookie on my site for a long time. So, but what's funny about that is what did I make last week in cupcake form?
You attempted to make chocolate gingerbread.
Uh huh. So I made chocolate gingerbread cupcakes, and that's probably the closest you're gonna get because I was like, okay, I like the spice, but I can't have all spice. I need some chocolate. So I should be posting hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I was just editing the video for some chocolate gingerbread cupcakes that are divine, but no actual gingerbread cookies. So, yeah, someone's saying they have to order most of their son's allergy safe snacks and foods because it can be really hard if you have limited shopping. We have to go like 4 different stores to accumulate it all. So someone else asked, have you heard of some tolerance induction program? I've never heard of that. Have you ever heard of that?
I'm not familiar with that phrase.
Yeah.
Tolerance induction.
My best guess, unless you're on here, the girl who asked it, is that she's talking about oral immunotherapy, where they build up a tolerance, like they have you take, teeny bit and they build you up. Our personal thoughts on it are, is it's not a good fit for our family right now. If you have more questions about why, we can talk more about that. Yeah, someone's saying it's like OIT. Number one of the outcomes can be EOE, and our son already has that, so I've heard he's not a good candidate. Number two, there is high risk. I know people love to tout the good stories, but I mean, there are many people who have anaphylaxis to it, so I feel like we can avoid anaphylaxis, and I'd rather do that. It's a huge commitment. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of office visits. It's a lot of time. And with 3 small kids, I don't feel like that's something that can fit right now. So for a lot of reasons, we don't feel it's good. It's also not FDA approved. There's many doctors who do offer it, but it's still technically in clinical trials. So that also didn't make me feel comfortable. There's no long-term studies done on it. So there's not even sure if the tolerance remains or what happens. I know a mom that did OIT, and when her son gets sick, he gets reactions to his dosing again. They have to dose him back down and dose him back up. And it seems like a big headache. Like more of a headache to me than carrying around an EpiPen, because they're still having, you're still just as worried, or she comes across to me as just as worried than me, because I'm not feeding my child something like that every day. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's a lot of people say that allergy can come back if you don't keep up on your dose.
Yeah.
So it's so new.
So you're pretty much just desensitizing yourself.
Trying to, yeah. But a lot of people love to call it a cure. And anyways, there's a lot of stuff out there. For us, we don't feel like it's a good fit right now. That said, if you have done your research and you have maybe talked to multiple doctors, maybe a pediatrician and the allergist who does it, because I feel like some allergists try to push it if they're into doing it and it's exciting and it's a new practice for them. And then if you feel good about it, you got to do what works for your family, right? Like to each their own. Okay, so someone asked, how do we eat out at restaurants? You want to handle that?
Very cautiously.
Claudia's very succinct. I'm the long-winded. He's the succinct one. We have a whole live on just eating out.
Yes.
From back in February or March. If you want more details on what he's about to do.
Typically, we just don't go to any restaurant showing up, hoping for something to be there. We try to do our homework and see whether that's calling ahead or looking at a menu.
Because most restaurants have their menus online now.
To see if there's options. We tend to, go to restaurants like Mexican or, ethnic type restaurants where the food is more like, I call it clean cooking.
Yeah.
You have to
rice and beans.
You make ingredients and you put them together versus like packaged ingredients where they tend to have fillers and that type of stuff, and you can't really amend or make changes.
Yeah, because they're just like, we just poured out the sauce, and what else can we do?
And so definitely more ethnically, like she said, rice and beans, which is something that our son can have, works really well. So my family's from the Caribbean, so I'm used to that as well. It's just all a difference about whether they put certain spices or they decide to put certain liquids in there, but basically rice and beans is safe. So
Yeah.
um,
We can do corn tortillas.
we can do corn
We can
tortillas.
do pork.
And so outside of that, we like to talk to the manager, explain to what our concerns are, what our limits are.
Especially because then it's not just maybe a possible young teenager, college student, waiter, waitress that don't understand. And then I think it shows how serious of lengths you're willing to go to, so they'll take you serious. You're like, I need to speak to a manager.
And then, of course, ask them to change gloves.
Do you understand what cross-contamination is? What are your cross-contamination procedures?
Change the grill if they have to. Clean it if they have to. Depending if
put aluminum foil down.
Put aluminum foil.
What workarounds do they have?
So.
Yeah, someone else is saying they never order without a manager. If ever in doubt or you don't feel safe, leave. We've had to walk out. So hopefully that's a good basis. And then kind of once we find one that shows up and shows us they are responsible, we have like a rotation of 5 restaurants that we go to over and over and over, which sometimes stinks, like we would like more variety, but at the same time, like it's nice to have that peace of mind. We also like ones where they make it in front of us. So like we go to Costa Vida a lot, which is like a Hispanic one. So I can be like, sorry, you forgot to change your gloves. I'm sure they love it when I'm like peering at them over the glass, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So let us know if you have any more questions. We can definitely go more into depth. We're just trying to like hit a lot of questions in a short amount of time. But that's the highlights, right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. She said she has a post about it.
A previous live about it. I should do a post about it. Okay, so someone asked, and I love everyone's feedback on this, how I handle manufacturing questions. Okay. Well, this is, again, it was just like a quick typed question. So I'm going to take it for how I'm reading into it. You can let me know if I don't answer it all the way. Background story. I used to do global marketing for a company that manufactured their own products, GMP standards, kind of understood how manufacturing works to an extent. And because I know like there are those standards and there's cleaning protocols, I might have there's GMP standards that manufacturing companies are supposed to have. And there's only so many food manufacturers in the world. Like I know everyone loves to think like every company has their own blah, blah, blah. No, they don't. Like most places run for multiple companies, multiple products. Okay, set that aside. Also, if you're not familiar with FALCPA, federal, my gosh, I can't remember it now. It's the federal labeling law. FAIR has really good articles on it. The Food Allergic magazine has good articles on it, and it did a lot for us, but there's also a lot of loopholes. So, for example, a company is not required to put may contain statements. They have to label for the top 8 allergens in one or the other or both. They're not required. So sometimes they just have to put it in the ingredient listing. And if you notice, some packages will say this contains peanuts. This contains. So don't always just be looking for that separate sentence. You have to check both. Now, because some companies are not required, some do label and they'll say may contain traces of peanuts. And some that probably should don't because they're not required. So it can drive an allergy mom crazy. And a while ago, I just made the decision I can't do it with 3 kids. And I took them.
It was before 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. And I just feel like I cannot drive myself crazy. Like I have to boundary this some way. And not that we even buy a lot of packaged stuff. Like I do a lot of cooking from scratch. But if you even think like the diced tomatoes and the can of black beans and the can of corn, like I can't call. And for some moms, that gives them peace of mind and it's worth the time. And they keep a running list. But like for me, I was just like, I'm gonna go strictly off the label. Like I'm just gonna trust, and there may be some risk involved with that, but like I just can't. Like I can't call and be like, is this cross contaminated? What else is on the line? Da 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 da. And so, but if I find a product that hasn't, the ingredients are absolutely fine, but it has a may contain warning. I will not choose that one. I will choose a different brand. But know that that other brand may contain something, it just doesn't have it listed. But for my peace of mind, I choose the other one. Now, what do I do if there's only one kind of black beans at the store? Well, not even black beans is a bad example. It's something that my son really wants, like a cracker that's gluten free, and it's like one of a kind that doesn't have eggs, doesn't have gluten, but it has a may contain warning. I call. There's always a number for every manufacturer, every company. Turn it over. Most of the time, it has a 1-800 number. If it doesn't, Google it. Like you can find anything nowadays. And I'm telling you, I think there hasn't been any company. I'm like trying to wrap my brain over the last years that I have walked away from talking to them that I have not felt comfortable giving it to my son. I usually find companies who do label that are trying to be so careful, and that comes through in the way they manufacture. They're like, oh, well, it is, but it's in the same facility, but it's not even the same line. And I'm like, well, if it's in the same room, like our son isn't that sensitive. Or they'll say it is on the same line, but we have a stringent cleaning protocol, and we clean and we don't even run it on the same day. Oh, then my son can do that. So it's kind of a personal decision as far as what your comfort levels are. But when in doubt, call, or when in doubt, don't eat it. I think those are kind of my two options that I do. And we don't eat it. It's like there's been times where my son has been sent home things from church or school. I'm like, ugh. I didn't want to call on that, and I just never let you know it was even out there in the world. But now he's excited to eat it. Like a Charms blow pop was an example. And I was like, okay, I'll call. And we had to wait like a day, and he was asking me, have they called back yet? Have they called back yet? They call back. Yes, it's safe. Okay, you can have it. So you just gonna have to figure out your boundaries, what you're comfortable with, and what you're willing to do. I feel like we missed stuff. Sorry.
The only thing we missed is someone said they're having a child having a party.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Any ideas?
Okay.
Okay, mine was the Rice Krispie trees.
Well, yes and no. It depends on the school's policy of homemade food.
She said peanuts, milk, and eggs.
Okay. What did I do last year?
The reindeer.
Did I do? No, that's homemade. I did my son's school Christmas party, and I did the food. I'm gonna have to go back and look because it has to be all store bought at our school. I think most schools are like that. I'll think of one. I'll post about it because I'm like, I know I did one. I know it was completely Christmas. I mean, a lot of times I'll just look on Pinterest. It's doing that again. And I'll just modify. Okay, Amanda, I'm sorry. It looks like you just did a long one. But my phone is doing that thing again where it won't let me see the rest of it. So all I see is at Fair Conference, I sat in on a lecture about this, and they said that the labels don't matter. And that's all I got. I also went to a national conference for Fair a few years back and sat in on a class specifically about felt, and that's kind of where I set my own barometer with that as well. Sorry. Oh yay! Yeah, that is like the number one recipe on my site for like years because people love that and come back for it. So I'm so glad that you liked it too. It's the bomb. I find myself checking food labels on everything, foods that he eats all the time. Just a habit, but a good one. Every day he's at school, I get anxiety like crazy. Well, yeah, I think you should always check every label you bring into your home. And check it when you at the store, check it when you're putting it away on your shelf, and then check it before you hand it to them. Is like a really good rule of thumb because companies change their recipes, companies change their processes. Like you just never know. Like you'd hate to just rely on that, So I think that's good. We have previous lives talking about the anxiety. I think that's something as allergy parents we really have to keep in check, and we have to watch out for because you run the risk of passing it on to your children, and then just for your own sanity. So maybe look back through some of our lives where we talk about that, unless you want to touch on that at all. Okay, some really specific questions. What butter do I bake with? I try to do coconut oil as much as I can because it's cheaper than like butter substitutes.
Or olive oil?
No, I don't bake with olive oil. I'll cook with olive oil. Or else I use the Earth Balance buttery sticks is what I bake with. So Amanda, if you want to just type it in small increments to share if you want. And then, is there an app you use for scanning labels? No, I don't. And maybe this is so old school of me, but I just don't trust apps. Like, I feel like, I just feel like my eyes do what they need to, and I'm worried that an app will be outdated. Like, I just don't know how they would go, how they'd have a database of that, and how they would keep it up to date. So I would just worry that I would rely on an app and something would happen. But I'm sure there are. I know I've been approached like multiple times about like, will you tell your readers about our app? And I'm like, no, 'cause I'm just not app happy, if that's a word. Like, other than like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
She rattles all that.
and Spotify. No, that's 4, and those are very common. Like, I feel like there are people who have apps for everything, and it's just like pages and pages on our phone of apps. Like, I'm just not a big app person.
You don't pay, yeah. I don't pay for apps.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't pay attention to the may contain and facility warnings usually either. Amanda's saying, yeah, that's how I am too. It does depend on the brand, right? So like, we don't let our peanut allergic son have like any kind of M&Ms because they don't usually have warnings. But I'm like, I know for a fact you guys have peanuts and almonds all up in that chocolate. So like, I know with that brand, like, I don't feel comfortable with my son having a plain chocolate bar because they got nuts all up in their stuff. You know what I'm saying? What are y'all? What are the things your children are allergic to? If you don't mind me asking, my daughter is allergic to milk, eggs, and soy. You want to do it? You want me to?
Our 2 of the 3 children have tree nuts and peanuts.
That's their
Our
shared one.
oldest has shellfish, beef.
No, he passed shellfish.
Sorry, no longer shellfish.
Yeah, he passed that last month. You were watching my Instagram story. Did a food challenge. I have to do it in the same order every time, otherwise I forget them. Wheat, dairy, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, beef, oatmeal. Oh no. Sorry, Instagram just like died. Beef, oatmeal. I'm forgetting one. Goat's milk. Our oldest has 8. Not the top 8, but 8. Because out of the typical 8, he can do soy and he can do fish and shellfish now. And then he's got weird ones like beef and goat's milk and oatmeal. So.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I am sorry, Instagram. I hope they jump over. I should have warned them it might die, but I thought it was charging. Shoot. Okay. So Amanda has a good question, and I think we can kind of end on this topic because that's kind of what I want to address with all the holiday stuff coming together. But just there's a lot of like, church Christmas parties, school Christmas parties, Christmas dinners, ugly sweater parties, huh? Yeah, fancy variations.
Or holiday parties, because you might have some viewers who are Jewish or non-Christian, but there's a lot of holiday gatherings.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Caitlin.
Holidays, so.
That's very true. So, what would be your advice regarding holiday parties?
Have a plan before you go. Maybe my advice, if you have any concerns.
And what would you do
if
bringing
your own stuff, whether that's communicating any allergies that you have, that you feel can be catered to.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give an example. So every year our church does a Christmas party, and I want our kids to go because it's like all their friends in the neighborhood, and they usually have Santa there, and it's a chance for me to socialize. And every year they do like kind of the same meal, like it's like a Christmas ham, some type of like scalloped potatoes, some type of like green salad, and something else. So I try and go with, is there anything there that my son can safely eat? Now, as you heard, he has a lot. So the only thing he could potentially do is ham. So I call up the person in charge of the party. It changes every year, so it's kind of a pain. and I'll say, can you tell me what kind of ham you're going to be buying, and are you going to do any type of glaze? Because a lot of people put glazes on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the past few years, they've always said, we're not doing any kind of glaze, but we don't know. Like, we don't know how to read the label, and usually when we get the ham, it's just the ham. So I say, where are you buying it from? And they buy it from like a meat packing plant in bulk. And so then I call the meat packing plant, and it's just like, it's how much you want to go to. I also have other parties where I'm like, I don't want to mess with it. I'm just bringing their own. But for me, it's kind of nice not to like cook a main dish and to kind of feel like, hey, we get to stand in line and feel a little included. And um, everyone's aware of our food allergies. We're very open and vulnerable about it. We don't try and hide it. So I try and be like, can like my son go first in line so he can get like the first cut before like someone might accidentally stick their fork in it and cross-contaminate it or whatever. So we try and get up near like the front of the line. And that way I only have to I bring him like a baked potato. I bring him,
Can't usually have a scallop.
well, of course, yeah, no
That's
cheese.
very-
And so then I just have to bring a few sides. Like he loves peas, he loves baked potato, and then like, it's just nice to bring one less thing. And then I always say like, we just don't do the dessert table because there's gonna be nothing there that won't have wheat, dairy, eggs. And our one son that has just the peanuts and tree nuts, where he's young enough, I just say there's nothing safe for you there either because I don't know. It's usually like a potluck, and I don't know like how do you get the recipe for everything? How do you trust everyone? So I just say we'll do a treat at home, or else I bring a treat for them. And usually I mean, I remember being so worried about them like feeling different or not having fun at the party, and like, do I even go? Like, and then just like watching them run around the church gym with all their friends and just having a ball and just being like, I'm so glad we came. Like, I'm so glad I didn't let food stop us. And it was like they hardly even noticed the dessert table. Like, I'm sure they saw it, but because they knew like mom offers good treats and mom will like pay us back for waiting, like they've been fine. So, and then usually,
and there's something to be said about allowing your kids to have opportunities to be resilient.
yes, yes,
You can't protect your kids from everything.
mm-hmm.
You can't allow them to feel like any situation that makes them feel uncomfortable is a negative situation that they should avoid at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other plus too. Like, yes, at this age, they can be entertained by playing with their friends, and they can get used to like we can be at places where we potentially might not have food that we can have.
Yeah.
And we can still have a good time, whether that is playing with our friends.
Yeah. Food doesn't make
not better. Just avoid it. We don't want our kids to be social recluses where they just really have it like, well, not like that I'll ever have anything that I can have, so I will just get used to just being by myself and spending time with myself and being at home whenever there's a gathering. Yeah. Or an activity.
Definitely. And when Santa comes, he always hands out candy canes. Like I have asked, like, oh, is he gonna hand out candy canes? And they can have candy canes. So then they still feel like they get a treat, and they see all the other kids having candy canes. So like, there's just that give and take where it's like, oh, that stinks. We can't have a lot of dinner, but we can still have fun. We can still socialize. We can still do the Christmas craft, or whatever that may be. So, and I think, and like I said, because we try and be really open about our food allergies, I feel like I try and have friends and that like look out for my kids. Like they tell me like, oh, he just went and touched the dessert table, or should he be eating that? Like, you have kind of those allies because Christmas parties get busy and get frantic. I prefer to go when he can, but a lot of times, unfortunately, he can't because he'll be working that night. And then I think it just depends on like your comfort level, but there have been times where I try and bring something similar. So if it's like a soup party, like everyone brings a soup, I try and bring like a safe soup that we can have that I know my son loves. Like I'll bring his favorite soup. So he's like, yes, and he's excited to have it. So it blends in. Or sometimes it might be worth it to like bring their favorite meal, even if it's not a match. So they can like, so they won't be like, oh, mine's plain and theirs looks so good and theirs looks exciting and fun. And they're like, oh, mom made my favorite. So for like example, like I don't care for fish, so I don't make it very often, but my son loves fish. So I'll save it for nights like that. So I can still eat what's offered and it's exciting to me because I might not have to make dinner and I just make fish for him. And he's like, yes, I get fish. So it's like a win-win all around, like it feels like a fancy dinner to him. and it feels like a night off for me because I get to like be fed. So there's just that give and take. I think someone was messaging me the other day saying, what do you bring? Like, I'm going to this party, this catered party, and the caterer is not willing to work with me. What do you suggest I bring? And I was like, I don't know. What do you like? Like, I was just like, that's such a general question,
Yeah.
and that's when I get in the idea. Like, sometimes it's nice to try and match it. So if you can find out what they're serving, that way I will cook you. Like, if you're really self conscious and you're not to that point, like, I hope you would get to that point where you don't care if you're eating differently. But if you're still like, I don't want, if it's like a coworker thing, like I don't want them, noticing I'm eating something crazy different, like bring your own pasta, like bring a pasta dish. Or um, if you're doing like a brunch with Santa, bring your own safe pancakes. If they're serving pancakes, like whatever helps you feel comfortable and have a good time, I think is good. And I think it's just, like Claudia was saying, there's so many good learning opportunities where it's like the kids can learn to, speak up for themselves. So like when their friends say, how come you're not eating what I'm eating? They can say, oh, I have food allergies and I have to bring my own safe food. And just like letting them learn to like talk about it in all these natural environments and ways, I think it's just so good for them. That's good for you. It's good for you to be like, it's okay to be different. We're okay being different. Different is not bad. Different is not less. It is. It is. Your body, we tell our oldest son, like, your body just processes food different. It can't handle it. And when you're really good friends, his eyes don't work the way they're supposed to. So he has to have glasses. Everybody's body does different stuff, and just try and be like, we try and be really matter of fact about it. Not to say that like if they're showing emotion, we're like, it's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like we try and validate and empathize with them, but we try and model like, oh, we just have to be different. Instead of like, no, it sucks. And, oh, I have to make safe pancakes. And like, his kids totally pick up on stuff like that. So we try to model where we can. In fact, I just signed our kids up for a thing today, and it's like this thing with Santa, and they're going to have milk and cookies. And I'm like, I'm still going to go. It's a bomb event, and we'll just bring our own safe cookies. We'll pack the pack of enjoy life, and they know not to touch the other ones. No dinner this year. So yeah, we've got a couple. We've got our church one. We've got this thing with Santa, milk and cookies. I always volunteer at the school for the parties and offer to do the food portion, so that way I can make sure my son's included. I don't know if you saw, but for Halloween, I did the food craft. We did those monster eyeballs. So, you volunteer and you help out where you can to try and make it the same. And if it's different, you teach them it's okay. It's okay. We have safety protocols. We always bring your EpiPens. In fact, now that our son is old enough, we always put his EpiPen and inhaler in a backpack, and we have him bring his own backpack. Like, I always keep them in the diaper bag too that I carry with me, but we want him to be like getting the habit of like, oh, I bring it with me everywhere. I carry it everywhere. I'm responsible for myself, And then three last things. I know, but just last quick things. We talked a lot about this on last month's live, so you can go back and listen to that. But it's not always church get-togethers. It's not always work get-togethers. It's not always school get-togethers. Sometimes it is family. And sometimes family is not responsible. And they don't show up in a way that shows that they are careful. And if you need to hear it, here's your permission. You don't have to go to family gatherings if your family is going to be unsafe. And there's degrees, right? Like there might be they make rude comments and they make jabs the whole time and they don't believe us. That to me would be a reason, like, why are you going to put yourself in that situation? That doesn't sound like a holiday get together. That doesn't sound like something when I'm off work and I get to spend time with my family, I'm going to go drag my kids to an event like that where we're belittled and we're not believed. Or there's degrees where it's just like, well, they don't provide safe food. Well, if you feel the company is enjoyable enough, you can bring your own. So I'm not saying like ditch all family if they don't provide the most perfect allergy-friendly atmosphere. But if they're unsafe, if grandma doesn't believe in allergies still, and she's trying to feed Timmy an unsafe cookie, maybe it's time you did your own holiday party. Maybe it's time you'd be like, we need to set some boundaries. You know what I mean? So I just want to give people permission because I know around the holidays there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of like codependence, like I have to go or my mother-in-law's going to be mad. But it's like, no, you don't. You have to do what's safe for you and your kid. And you don't have to feel bad about it, and you don't feel guilty, and you're not a bad person for sticking up for yourself. Any comments around that, Bobby?
No, well said. Well,
Oh, thank you. Um, so, okay, quick side question. Someone said, what if your children are worried about other people touching them? So our children are not contact reactive, which I think makes a difference. um, and my son does still worry about it. I've noticed that come out more and more now that he's in all day school. Like he'll say, like, "Mom, some kid was talking with his hands at the lunch table, and he was having pizza, and then he touched me with his cheese hands." And like I'm like, "Wow, he noticed that," and he was like, "Oh, I said a prayer, and I was nervous." So like he definitely worries about that, and we've just because he's had them since he was an infant. I mean, we've talked about you don't touch this, and you wash your hands, and if someone like he's so painfully aware for good and a little for bad that we've tried to like, well, if they touch your clothes, let us know if they spill on your clothes. We need to change. If they touch you, you can ask the excuse, go wash your hands, and you need to let us know if a rash shows up, or we can take Benadryl right away. Like there's different degrees for us because it's not that if they would need an EpiPen right away. But where I know for you, the person asking the question, they are contact reactive. Um, that's hard. I know a family where it's their kids touching things can cause reaction. So they have these really cool gloves that they wear. That's what they wear when they go out. And I think I know your daughter well enough to say she's probably super social aware too and very careful. And to me, the way I would talk to our son about that is I'd be like, we can only control ourselves and what we do, and we can be as careful as we can, and we can choose to sit by people that understand our food allergies and will be careful. And if we're in a big group setting, then maybe someone does touch us, what can we do? And like talk through the scenarios and just be like, I could walk outside and get hit by a bus, like, but you know what I mean? Like there's always risk. Like we could be in the car driving to go to school and someone could hit us. Like there's always risk going outside and doing things. And we still do things because they're good for us. And so sometimes they can feel scary. And if you feel really unsafe, let's talk about ways that we can help you feel comfortable. And if you start to feel unsafe during the event, you can come sit by me, like give them a couple options, but I still kind of push for them to go and then talk about afterwards. You were so brave. Did you like going? Were you glad you went? Because we've had times where our son doesn't want to go to something, and we'll go. And then we're like, are you glad you went? And he's like, yeah, I am, So it's a fine line between like pushing your kids, but also like giving them opportunities to feel uncomfortable and realize it's okay to feel uncomfortable. And we can talk about all the scenarios that you're worried about and try and like help them walk through it that way. Our baby has not shown any signs of allergies. Sorry, Caitlin, I cut off the rest of your comment. I'm slowly becoming the allergy-free sweets person. Yeah, and that's the thing is baking is by far the hardest. And so I almost always say, I'll do the dessert, And often I just like, for ease, I'll bring my allergy-friendly Rice Krispie treats. If you haven't looked it up, it's like the #2 recipe on my site. No bake, easy during stressful holiday seasons. And I actually have reindeers, a Christmas roll, and Christmas trees all made out of Rice Krispies to help you have like a no-bake thing to decorate. Cause yeah, like even my own sister who's happy to cook and bake allergy friendly for us, and I think she gets it. She's like, I don't want to buy gluten-free flour. I don't want to buy xanthan. And I'm like, that's fine. I already have it in my pantry, so I'll do it. Like it's no big deal. But then, can you do the sides? Can you do this? And here's the recipe for it. And then she'll follow my recipe. I know. So someone's saying their daughter doesn't always like to be open about their allergies. I know. When I went and read a book in my son's class this year to explain like why they all need to wash their hands, like I could tell my son was like for the first time, and I just say, there's no need to be embarrassed, it's okay if you have attention called to you. There's nothing wrong with talking about how your body functions and why it functions differently. So I think just because they're uncomfortable, you don't shy away from it, I'm
Well, I mean, yeah, you're trying to model for them that it's good to be vulnerable.
yeah,
And so,
that's
yes,
a good way to put it.
there is a chance that they might be teased, but if you can remind them, like for our son, he's embarrassed, but his whole classroom is aware.
Yeah.
And again, that's a conversation you have. Like, see how helpful that was to have your class aware and how they took the time to make sure they washed their hands. Like, those things would not have happened if we didn't tell them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have washed their hands, and you would have been more at risk.
Or they may have just been like, I don't want to wash my hands. I don't get the point. Now they're
Yeah.
like, oh, it helps protect Carter.
So it's definitely normal for children to respond that way, and it's important to give them opportunities to give them a different narrative as to what can
Yes.
happen
Yes.
by telling people.
Yes. I like that. So I'm sorry, Annie. Again, like it won't let us. It'll say see more, and then when we click on it, nothing happens. So you have to do like really short comments for us to get them all. So Annie says, I'm in the beginning stages of learning how to pack our food for multi-night stays. And that's all we got. So I'm sorry. It might be helpful to see how we did our Disney trip. It's in my Instagram highlights bubble. It says Disney Eats because it was our longest trip. It was a Sunday to a Saturday, and I included every single thing that went in my son's mouth for the snacks during the road trip. Where we ate in Southern California, where we ate in Las Vegas, and a lot of them were chains that you could do no matter where you're vacationing. What we packed, what was worth packing in the cooler, what was worth buying once we were there, and things like that. What we ate for breakfast in the hotels. So that's what I would do. I would look at that, start there. Okay. So Annie, will you be having the extended family overnight stays? I'm guessing at your house, or you're going to their house? Because we've gone to Boston, we've gone to North Carolina, we've gone to Wisconsin, we've gone to Idaho, we've gone to St. George. Almost every time we've traveled, it's been to family because I feel more comfortable with that, probably because our family's very understanding and they're very health conscious too. But yeah, I just like pack enough to usually get there, and then we cook while we're there. And I just say, I'm gonna have to take over your kitchen.
Yeah, it helps have what's the word? Helps to have a fridge or have.
But it sounds like maybe she'll be staying at family's.
But still,
Yeah.
it's helpful to have access to a fridge. Like even when we stay with family, like oh, we have this certain type of milk
that needs to be
that needs to be refrigerated.
So maybe you kept it in a cooler while you drove there, or his safe yogurts. And that's the other thing too, is like, okay, so when we go up to Idaho, hello, not a lot of specialty grocery stores. Okay. So I know like, okay, I've got to bring his special milk. I've got to bring his special yogurt, and like things I know aren't just going to be at like a Walmart up there, and so you pack that. And then I just say, sorry, but like it's just easier if I cook for him. I know how to cook for him, and then I'll, pick up groceries there, and then we just cook. We cook while we're there, and I'll say, can I cook for you guys too? Like when we stayed at my friend Whitney's, she let us stay overnight. I said, I'll make everyone breakfast, and I did my big sheet pan, my bacon breakfast with potatoes, and everyone loved it, So my boys could have it safe breakfast, and it felt inclusive. And I was like, if you're letting us stay, like the least I can do is cook for you. Like you're providing room and board. So hopefully that was helpful, Annie. And then
knowing as well as social aspect and difficulty bringing our food and refusing in-laws food.
Okay, well that's where I think it would go back to our previous comments of like personally, I'm not gonna take the time and effort because it is a monumental effort to pack safe food and plan.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be getting crap the whole time I'm there.
So the question is, have you had a discussion with the in-laws?
There you go.
In some shape or form. So like with our family, for instance, most of our family have received an email like, this is where our food allergies are.
Well, time out. Can I explain what that is?
What?
Well, like back when our son only had 10 safe foods and it was 20 and it was 30, I always was like, what if I die? Like, who will know how to feed him? So I would regularly, like when he'd hit like another 10 safe foods, I would send out a mass email to anyone that I thought might be his caregiver, to best friends, to grandmas and grandpas, and say, here is his latest safe food list. Here are safe breakfasts. Here are safe lunch. Here's our dinner, like 10 dinner recipes. Because I wanted to know that like, if something were to happen to me, even if I was just like incapacitated for a few days at the hospital, people would be like, oh, all the knowledge was in Megan's brain, and I know she feeds him special stuff, but I don't know what to get him, and I don't know how to shop for him, you know? So that's kind of where that came from.
Okay.
It's a little catastrophic, but
And the point is there some type of communication or vulnerability around the food allergies with your family or in-laws to where they're aware and some type of dialogue, whether the expectation is yes, we will have to bring our own stuff, or we are going to accommodate or help you with that if we're expecting you to be coming and visiting us.
mm-hmm.
So something like that, to where it might ease the anxiety and there's an understanding, and you don't feel like this disconnect. And if they do,
and you're trying to figure out on the fly once you're already there,
and you're trying to predict how they're going to respond. I mean, if you know for a fact they're not considerate of your food allergy, it's like Megan said, it goes back to what we mentioned before. Then that's a situation where then
I would weigh pros and cons. Like, is it worth?
Is that comfortable for you to go and have to deal with?
I'd rather stay at my own home and
feeling self-conscious about the food and that you have an allergy and that you have to make your own thing and that they feel a certain way about it. That's what I would say. So either open up a dialogue about it, become vulnerable with them about it. Like this is a big thing. Like because food is a big thing. It's how we survive. If we're spending time with you X amount of days or hours, like I need to somehow be able to have food that I can have safely. So can I bring stuff? Are you going to accommodate? What can we do?
Yeah. So it's a positive experience for you. It's a positive experience for me. And you can bring up past things like, in the past, it has seemed like maybe you took it personal that we would refuse your food. And we want you to know we love you. And that's why we go to these lengths to spend time with you. And we have very serious medical conditions. This isn't a preference, and you would feel terrible if you sent your grandson to the ER. Like, we don't want that for you. We don't want that on you. So let's talk about a game plan. And if you're saying they're not good at communicating and I can't even see us having that conversation, then maybe there's your answer.
Yeah.
But I would try. You always want to give people an opportunity to understand where you're coming from. And I always say this, but like the best book for tricky conversations like this, especially where like I used to not be comfortable with being vulnerable and having to like hold a firm line, is the book called Crucial Conversations. It's a business book. He had me read it in one of his psychology classes. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's mediating. It's you mediating on behalf of your child with this family, other family member. And it is so good. I recommend like every allergy parent read it because you're mediating, whether it's at the school, family, coaches, and it's just like a skill to learn.
And hopefully, since you said in-laws, your spouse is helping you in that. If it is his parents or her parents, depending on the person, now hopefully they feel comfortable that they could have that discussion as well.
Yeah. And maybe it's important that you have your spouse there and it's like a group communication. So if you're worried about like coming off a certain way because you're like outside the family a little, that they're there and they show support. No, mom, I'm going to back her up. Like, this is a big deal. So you show that united front. So that's just a couple ideas.
Like when we went to Boston and visited my bio father.
Which we're not super close with. It's not that we had a lot of conversations before. But, it's kind of like this new thing.
But yeah, I made sure he understood that this is what it was going to take for our son. At the time, it was just our oldest that we had.
Well, no, it was both. The second trip.
Oh, true. The second trip we had two. Mm-hmm. But I made sure he understood, and they were more than grateful. Him and his girlfriend.
What do we call her?
They were more than understanding as far as willing to, they wanted to make sure we felt comfortable.
Yeah,
so, and they did most of the cooking, so they were very helpful, asking what ingredients, what not. Mm-hmm. So, what accommodations, if we needed to, like I said, we need to take up space in the fridge. We could.
And we didn't have a car when we went. Mm-hmm. We were using theirs.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll drive you to the grocery store. Yeah. Like I'll take, like, we were like, we're going to need time to go to the grocery store and buy safe things. Like that's going to have to be, we're going to have to borrow your car. Like, so it was effort on both parts, you know?
And I mean, to ease anxiety, I wouldn't say it was like we need to sit down and talk. And like, this is a serious discussion. Like, it was just, and that might be based on how comfortable you feel with the person. It might be based on your communication style. But
Yeah.
to me, like, I was just like, hey, like, this is what our concerns are when we come visit you. This is what we have to do for our son. So what can we do?
Yeah.
And I didn't even have to really say what can we do. It was like, what can we do?
Yeah. And so there's always gonna be a different level of how people, like, we lucked out. I think that and for the record, like,
But that wouldn't have happened if we were just like, oh, we're not gonna go to Boston. There's no point in trying.
Or we'll just pack everything
We'll
ourselves.
just pack everything ourselves, not tell them.
I mean, that was an option.
So beautiful things can happen when you.
Yes. Exclamation point. Exclamation point.
So hopefully with you and your in-laws, like, a beautiful thing can happen. And that can be a very connective experience.
Where you feel like they're on your team and now you've got these allies. And I'm sorry, Annie, maybe you're like, well, you way answered your question. We just get this question a lot, so we're just going to cover it. That's why we're covering it, I think, in length. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that once you have this conversation and this groundwork is in place, other Christmases are not going to be a fight. But it's going to continue to be uncomfortable if you don't have that common understanding. Oh, it's Thanksgiving time. Oh, it was really awkward at Christmas. Here we go. So I just kind of feel like it's kind of like that Band-Aid where it's like, especially if your kids are young and you're going to have many holiday events with them, it's just like, it's painful, but it's got to be done if you want those people in your life and you want to be able to have shared more than a few hours together. You can go a few hours without food, but, like, you know what I mean?
And we understand family. Like, everyone has them and you have everything. And guess what? The same formula works for other issues.
Yeah.
So all those little things that you don't like about so and so during the holidays and that you feel you have to put up with, like, it works. Like, talking to them about it, and or feeling like, hey, like, I'm not gonna put up with that anymore. Like, we're not coming.
Okay with that.
We're not coming this year. It works. It takes a lot of guts.
It's so worth it, though.
But it can be very freeing.
The peace that comes from, you don't.
And again, we're not anti-family at all.
No, work with them. See, like, but by all means, see if you can make it work. But if they're gonna be
like, stressed and anxious and feeling like you're walking on eggshells, and
you're not even enjoying your holiday.
You feel like you just play this role. You're not even an individual. It's just this role you play.
It's like, here's our family, and you can only fit in if you eat our food and you act the way we want you to act. And it's like, I'm not an object. I'm a person.
And when you have kids, realize you're exemplifying that for them. So you also have that on your side. Like, I might have to deal with this when I was a child. Now I'm an adult and I have my own children. They don't have to deal with this. Yeah. We don't have to exemplify this for them so that they grow up in this continuous.
But like, they always have to please other people. It's not about being safe for them. It's, but grandma might be mad, or you know what I mean. I hope that answered it. That was kind of long, but it's such an important topic, and there's a lot of facets that I think go into it. So I'm glad you brought up what you did, Claudia. I'm sorry, guys, if we missed anything. Hey, Adira, because the comments kept getting cut off, and I'm sorry, Instagram. I hope you hopped over and asked your questions if you needed it too. So last two things. Number one, make sure that you are. I know, stop. I don't know why I put a number to it. Make sure that you're on my email list. Okay, because updates, things about the cookbook. For Thanksgiving, I literally sent out an entire Thanksgiving menu, all curated for all my email subscribers. So go to my site on the right hand side.
True.
Like literally what we have every year. Which I loved. So many people were posting pictures of stuff they made of mine and were tagging me. I love seeing it. I love seeing my creations in your guys' home. So keep doing that. But to sign up for my newsletter, you just go to my website and on the right hand side scroll and there'll be a little box that says newsletter sign up. Secondly, okay, nope, still two more. We're still on two. It's the magical two that just keeps on giving. My cookbook is available for pre-sale. If you didn't catch that, because you're talking a lot about my cookbook, but I wasn't very clear on that. You go to Amazon, you can either type in my name, Megan, Megan, Lavin, Lavin, Or the really long title, but I love the title, so I wasn't willing to shorten it. An Allergy Mom's Life-Saving Instant Pot Cookbook. Either one will pull it up. It's a blue background with a pasta dish on it. You can buy it pre-sale. I think it would make the best stocking stuffer for anyone that has a restricted diet, food allergies. What you do is you buy it pre-sale, print out the receipt, fold it, put it in a cute envelope, stick it in a stocking, and then put the address to that person. So when it comes out in April and it launches, because it's on pre-sale, they will get it the minute it prints, shipped via Amazon right to their doorstep. So that is a great Christmas present. If you're looking for some last minute Christmas gifts,
don't be intimidated by Instant Pot.
don't no.
Honestly, you can buy ingredients.
It's like a slow cooker, really. That's how simple I make it.
Chop up ingredients, measure ingredients.
Well, you like keep things frozen.
Hold on. Measure ingredients.
I'm so excited.
Put it all in one thing. Push a button so certain numbers come up. You're good.
You're golden.
So I think if you're 2018 and you're probably under the age of 40, you could do those things as far as technology.
Y'all, my grandma was recipe testing, okay? She's in her like 70s.
Of Instant Pot and the basics of life of putting ingredients together.
Yeah.
So don't feel intimidated.
Thank you.
But there is a difference, as Megan said, between the different Instant Pots. So you put the link up to the one that we suggest that is less confusing.
Well, it's not just that it's less confusing. Yeah, it doesn't heat up. It doesn't scorch things like a lot of the others do. So, yeah, you guys will get it and you will love it. Thank you for that.
I'm just figured there's probably some people who are like, I don't know what Instant Pot is, and that just seems, and I get that, but it's,
you're good.
I've done it.
So, like lots. I'll be like, I'm late. Pop this in the Instant Pot. Close the lid. Push this button. So, man tested, man approved.
It's microwave. that's probably the best way. It's a lot like a microwave.
Yeah. Are you defrosting?
And the configuration. So if you can work a microwave, you can work an Instant Pot. If you can work a crock pot, then you got a head start on the Instant Pot.
Yes. Okay, so Julie says, I'm 48. Will I be able to work it?
I was just throwing out numbers.
My grandma, who's in her 70s, has an Instant Pot. She recipe tested for me. Okay, you're good, Julie. You're good. And then Yadir says your recipes only work using Instant Pot. No, I only have a few Instant Pot recipes on my site, but my cookbook that's coming out, my printed cookbook in April, will only be for Instant Pot. 60 recipes, all for the Instant Pot. And an Instant Pot is very different from a crock pot as far as will it work in a crock pot? No, because an Instant Pot cooks by pressurizing. So the liquid amount, the ingredient amount, the timing is all calibrated for an Instant Pot. I hope that makes sense. And then the last thing I wanted to share that I haven't really hold me to it, has been, Claudia's just going to hit the end button if I keep talking after this, is that I've recently been listening to a lot of Dr. Shalifa, Shalifa, and are very many recipes free of the top 8. All 60 recipes in my cookbook are free of the top 8. Every single recipe. And almost every recipe on my site is, because my son has got 6 of the 8. So you should be golden. I should be your go-to.
You and all of your friends and family that have one of the top 8 should be good.
Because so many of them, I'll give substitutions. Like I'll say, use coconut aminos or gluten-free soy sauce or regular soy sauce. Like, so depending on where you fall, or use gluten-free flour, or if you can do regular flour, use regular flour. So it's very adaptable. Use gluten-free noodles or use regular noodles if you don't need gluten-free. But anyways, back to Dr. Shalifa. She talks about being a conscious parent. And I've been listening to a lot of her stuff, and I love her. And I just want to say that I echo what she says. So if you want to hear it from like a clinical psychologist with a PhD and not Megan and Claudie, that she talks a lot about pain is good. Like as parents, we are doing our kids such a disservice by trying to shield them from pain. Pain is a teacher. Pain teaches you empathy. Pain helps you to grow. And that as parents, if we're always trying to keep our kids from experiencing pain, we're actually doing them a huge disservice. And I just kept thinking about that in light of food allergies and how it sucks to see your kid be left out, or it sucks to see your kid feel different. And it's such a good learning experience for the rest of their life, because if it's not food allergies, I promise you it's going to be that they don't fit in socially, or that they're embarrassed of their braces, or that they have acne, or they have weight issues. Like, there will be something in all their schooling career.
Traumatic or adverse.
Yeah, that is going to be hard. It's going to make them feel different. And food allergy kids are just getting a head start on how to deal with not fitting in, and how to deal with having hardships. And hopefully they'll be more empathetic, and they will just be that person that can reach out to those kids who are struggling later on.
And resilient.
Yeah, and be resilient. So check out her if you're wanting more stuff, because I love having additional resources.
Our oldest, Julie, has EOE as well.
Yeah, technically he has 30 foods that he avoids. He used to only have 10 safe ones, and we've worked our way up. So I have a whole post on EOE if you have more questions for me. But we're going to call it. We're going to call it a night. These once a month, it's easy to go on because we only see you guys once a month. So we will see you the first Monday in January, 9 p.m. Come here, bring any questions we missed. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your dog, tell your grandma. And we'll see you next month. Did I miss anything?
Until next month.
Till next month.
And if you did, I'm not telling you.
Night, guys.